Akiamba saidia. Hujui utajificha wapi. But because there are also needs that you have to achieve in life. There are things that you need to achieve that requires money and you have no option. You have been forced to go to the streets. Personally, I resist to go to the streets, but I began as a cobbler. A cobbler. Ukipeleka eti yake ishonwe. Unalipanga pesa ngapi mingi? 500. 1000. It was 20 bob. 20 bob, 30 bob. And let me tell you something. Watu wa Nairobi wako na madharau. Wanajua mtu haoni na anatafuta pesa, tutamuonyesha ni Nairobi. Anaenda kanyaga shonde, mafi. Kiari inakuja kama inanuka kabisa. Akamwambia fundi, niaje? Hii utafanya pesa ngapi? Atamwambia 50. Oh 50. Ni sawa, shona. Ile harufu umesikia. Ile pako nasema Mungu, kwa nilizaliwa kuteseka namna hii Nairobi, but kumbe Mungu ako na sababu. Wao ambao walinitesa kwa kunipatia viatu ambavyo vimekanyagwa na mafi, waliniona kwa TV nikiwa naendesha ndege. Na ndege ambayo imepita hapo ni ndege ya Uhuru Kenyatta, helicopter. Na hapo ndipo nilianzia. Nikajua kwamba kuna siri moja. Ukimtegemea Mungu, Mungu hawezi kuacha. Shida ziko, lakini shida ni za muda. Sikuangalia nyuma penye nimetoka, niliangalia penye naenda. Huko mbele kunakaa namna gani? Nikasema Mungu, kama nilikuwa ni mapenzi yako, nisome na nikuwe mtu kwa hii dunia. Mungu, nifanye niwe mtu kwa hii dunia. Ndipo nikasema kwamba maisha yangu yote nitamtumikia yeye na kutumikia watu ambao wanaishi na ulemavu. Nilipokwenda kule kwenye aviation school, of course lazima angalie mambo ya matibabu, waone unaweza ona macho vizuri na plate nasoma aje, bangalie rangi gani, bangalia katikati hiyo gari black na gray, unaweza lenga hiyo ndege hapo katikati, burusha macho na kama itaenda hapo katikati. Yes, waangalie performance. The first thing they saw Kibo School for the Blind, primary school. Another thing, Thika High School for the Blind. Sasa akasema, wewe jameni, haukuona kitu yote ya kufanya ndio ukuje kwa mambo ya aviation? Nani atakupatia ndege? Nikamwambia Mungu amenituma kwenu mnisaidie kujifunza kuendesha ndege. Wakasema kwenda huko na mpaka Mungu. Wewe ulikuwa wapi na Mungu wewe? And that's why even we believers, we tend to lose that, grace that God has given us. When you talk about God, they say, hii kitu, it is quite impractical. It's impossible. It's impossible. And this is how my journey began. Born on 24th August 1991 in the village. My parents themselves, they never knew that I was blind until I was about 3 to 4 years when I was asked to go bring a spoon in the kitchen. So instead of bringing the spoon in the kitchen that was placed on the stool, niligonga stool na mguu ikaanguka chini, pap, na nikaanza kupapasa chini. Hii kijiki inaweza kwa wapi? Kumbe mzee was looking at me. Huyu mtu haoni. Na watu wakijua kijiji watasema namna gani? Atindizama mtu mwenye haoni. Hii nilikuwa mwisho ya kuona mama na baba wakiwa pamoja hivi kama kitu kimoja. Mama, chukua mtoto wake enda naye. Enda. Hapana, mtoto ni wetu. Years. And the grandmother is about 93. Hujui nani atasaidia mwingine. Bwana, nikasema Mungu, una sababu. Penye nimetoka na penye niko una sababu. What should I do? I was a very jovial person. And huyo grandmother alipenda kanisa Katoliki sana. So, na shosho wanakujanga hivi na kisaya na dance wanakupeleka mbele kabisa na father. So I used to sit kwa miguu ya father. Sasa father akauliza, nyinyi watu kwa hii kanisa, nyinyi wote mkiona unyanya mzee ananiletea kijana kama ukaa naye hapa, mwezi msaleta aende shule. Mtu akasema, sasa father, tutampeleka wapi? Yeye mwenyewe haoni, atasoma shule gani? Sasa amejaribu shule zote ameshindwa. What do we do? We don't have any choice. We pray for him. If he gets sight, well. If he doesn't go to school, maybe ilikuwa mpangilia Mwenyezi Mungu. Lucky enough, there was a gentleman who used to work from one sure company here. Alijua Kibo School for the Blind. He came with that information at home. That's how I was able to obtain from the grandmother's home to the Catholic nun. From the Catholic nun, I found myself in Kibo School for the Blind. And even to make the matter worse, I thought being in school ni mahali pazuri, nitafurahi, nitakula vizuri, nitavaa vizuri. I went to school without shoes, nenda shule na viatu za naitwa Umoja slippers. Ni ndefu zimeshinda mguu. Ukitembeza pa 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 pa. So people identify you, Odongo. Odongo ni aje? No, they hear from the sound. Rasam Odongo ndio ule hizo slippers zake za Umoja. Kaka mwaka mmoja kulikuwa na ubiri hapo Salvation Army, wakanisaidia nikapata kiatu marangi ya kwanza nikiwa class 3 na nimeingia class 2 na hizo slippers za Umoja. Ziliraruka, zikatoboka, lakini zilisukuma tu kazi. Nikasema wewe bora sikanyagi chini, tutasonga tu nayo polepole. Tukafanya hivyo, tuangana na maisha kabisa. Ilipofika 206 nilipata 351 marks out of 500. The best student with visual disability at primary category. Nikaenda Thika School for the Blind. Nikasema Mungu, unaitwa Mungu. Nimemanage kumaliza primary. Niko na certificate, niko na result slip. Mambo yatakuwa na nywe. Nikaenda Thika School for the Blind. Ile baridi ilinichapa huko. Naamka saa 10 asubuhi. Nikasema Mungu, mbona watu kwa ipata shule huko kote Kisumu, Western, Eldoret wapi? Ni hapa tu. But nikasema will manage. So kutoka hapo kangangana kwanza biashara Mathare, because huko Mathare maisha imekuwa ngumu. Mwenye mlikuwa mnakaa naye pia umekuwa mtu mkubwa na kuambia tuwezi kaa na sister, enda jitafutia maisha. That's how I began now repairing shoes. Nikashona viatu. Na nafanya tu service pole. I've never seen my mother, I've never seen my father, I've never seen my siblings. Niko tu peke yangu. Poko na sasa wewe ukikufa hii Nairobi utazikwa wapi? Naambia kwa ni Lang'ata kwenda makaburi. Na atakupeleka huko mwenye ataniona kama nimekufa. Naambia sawa but give to kipofu here. Enda kaa huko. So I did that in a very humble way. Siku despise my humble beginning, and that's how I joined Kenyatta University in 2012 to do special needs education, mathematics and geography. Some teacher, a professional one. Yes, when I look at you, examine, and I'm able to place, assess and say, huyu atakaenda kwa shule, apply this kind of attention, she or she can also make it. And most of them have qualified. Now, in 2013 nikiwa second year, ile mwaka kusumbua walimu sana. Nikakuwa mgonjwa kidogo. Unajua ukiwa huko pia ni hesabu ni ngumu, unasumbuana. Kwanza calculus na integration. Moto kwa kia mbali. Nimeingia class mwalimu amesema e raised to power 5. Answer number 1, answer number 2. Wewe hujui chochote. Wewe yaone achana huyu hawezi jibu. And that's how niliamua niinue mguu juu, braille juu, akaniambia okay, can you try? Akaniambia this one go to integrate, differentiate, bring this 5 down, then integrate again, differentiate, then logarithm, and then bring 5 to intervals of these two negative, and the answers come to about negative 0.5. And the answer was correct. Everybody was clapping for me. Kumbe ni kipofu na kinajua kufanya hesabu. Hii mtu hatari sana huyu mtu. And that's how even the university lecturers and the students came to learn about me. So anything when they heard from the media that I had joined aviation school, walisema Odongo ataweza. Because Odongo is a tough man. He doesn't spare time. He doesn't waste. And he always work for what he wants in life. So nimemaliza, nimetoka nje nikasema sasa Mungu, mimi nimepata kazi. Sasa kazi yangu itakuwa ni kukula mshahara vizuri, ninenepe, nikuwe na kitambi, ninunue gari, niishi maisha comfortable yenye sijaishi. Nilipomaliza university nikaa miaka 2 bila job, bila chochote. I had to go back again from a humble beginning. Kushona viatu. Unashona, unajidunga mkono, dawa imetoka sijui nini. Mashida tu. Kumbe Mungu was modeling me to become somebody in life. So after that, savings, nikapanda ndege ya Jambo Jet from Nairobi to Mombasa. It was a comfortable traveling by plane. Na nimekuwa nikispend like almost a whole night kwa barabara kutoka Nairobi kwenda Mombasa, but I'm only going there with 45 minutes. I was very happy about it. That's why I gained the interest of flying the planes. Now the story begins. Who is going to pay for your school fees? Who is going to admit you? Because you are blind. How will you get there? But lucky enough, through an eye surgery, I was able to recover sight partially. And I went to the aviation school with an eye like this. Mnaweza nisaidia nijifunza kuendesha ndege? I went to more than 20 schools in USA. Kasema, we are wasting our time kwenda huko. Sumbua hapa bure. So nikaenda ingine nikamwambia nimepita bwana, hata mimi nimetoka university boss. Nimeiva kuiva. Second class hapa ndio hii hapa bwana. Kaenda kasema ni sawa. Bado walipoangalia results ya form 4, Thika School for the Blind, toka. Kasema hao watu wanataka maombi. Na nitakesha tena kwa pastor nimwambie ile mambo ambayo napitia ndani. And because I used to worship at Madare, nikiwa kilikuwa na worship KU, nikiwa Githurai worship Victory SDA, sasa nimerudi hapa New Life. So katika hali ya maombi, there's a day nikutana mama ngine Kenyatta. Nikasema huyu atasolve shida zote ziishe leo. Kaambia mama, unisaidie. Mama nikusenda namna gani? Kaambia mimi nataka kwenda kujifunza kuendesha ndege. Sasa mwenyewe hauoni, utaendesha ndege namna gani? Kaambia mama uko na nguvu. Ukipenda tu tafadhali, ile kitu ambacho nipatia mzuri kabisa ni kuendesha ndege. Mama akajaribu kuniambia sasa ndio ufanye law. So ndio ufanye hata walimu. Nikamwambia mama sitaki hiyo, nataka tu kuendesha ndege. Kabaya akasema acha kusumbua mimi wewe kijana. Nani hapa na muda wa kupoteza. Ingia kwa gari twende huko Wilson. So tulipoenda huko Wilson nilikuwa nimeuchochi movie za kuendesha nini. Nikapewa kifungu nitaingiza ndani, nizungushe, nitakanyaga mafuta hapa chini, kuna throttle hapa juu na kuna mixture najua nimeona kwa YouTube. Kaambia jamaa, wallahi mimi ni malenge, si malenge hivyo, mimi nafikiria. So pale nilipoingia nikamwambia sijali weka tu hapo. Nikapanda kuja nikaangalia wings, kaangalia huko ndani, kaangalia nikafunganisha hivi pap unafunika haraka. I have gone to aviation school, nikamwambia sije kanyaga. But I'm a pilot. Pale namna gani wewe sasa wewe? Nilipoingiza kifungu ndani namna hii, kanyaga brake, nikatest radars good. They communicate. First Yangichali Bravo Lima taking from Wilson on a local hour training. Okay, go ahead. Then nikaanza ku take off on the runway. Nilejuu ukivuti control tower hivi on your side, hiyo ndege itaenda juu. So tukaenda kimaka kama sasa Mungu mwenyewe saidia tu, hii kitu inaanza anguka nikufa hapo. Nilipofika, are you ready? Yes. Ndege ikaenda juu. Nikazunguka na nikarudisha ndege chini. Alifurahi sana. Wewe utakuwa mwanafunzi hapo. And that's how I was able to get a 2 million scholarship from Mama Ngina Kenyatta. And that's how I became a good friend with the First Lady, Office of the President, and the government. So tukisema kwamba Odongo haoni na anaendesha ndege, ni wewe utafutwa kazi. That's what you call state machineries. And now, I went for the training. I trained, and I got my first license, second license. Then it was my time to fly now with the captain who introduced me to the flying. Kaambia Captain Von Mumia, I only believe in God. When you are traveling, when you are flying with this machine, we are in the casket where anytime you can die and be buried from there. Kaambia wewe acha mambako wewe. Sisi tumekaa kwa industry for more than 30 years. What are you telling us? You've been here flying. What are you telling us? Sisi tu kwa sanduku ya kaburi. Kaambia tu kwa sanduku tunaweza kufa wakati wote, lakini naamini Mungu atafanya nini? Atufikisha huko. So tulipotoka Wilson tuka take off, nikaambia I'm the one to take off. And also be the one to thank the passengers on board. And we did that. When you took off on the runway complete, then you go take off. I pulled, then I went up. Even you can suffer a safety belt. About 50,000 feet above the sea level. I told them, thank you very much for choosing Safari Link. I'm the blind pilot, Daniel Odongo. Why? Wenye kujua kuomba, walijua kuomba hiyo siku. Wenye kujua Mungu yuko, walijua Mungu hako hiyo siku. And that's how I became the first pilot with visual disability. Now, you want to relate it in the life real situation. Some of us, especially the youths, have got one problem, losing hope in life. Sometimes because of academics, because of grades, because of family background. So we tend to lose that hope and say, now kweli hata mimi nikipita mtihani, where is my future? Will I be able to make it in life? If you can believe in God, if you have faith in God and become persistent, regardless of that condition that you are going through, you will make it. If you talk of any blind pilot, it brings you back to Kenya. The other day I got a recommendation letter from the Prime Minister of Netherlands. Say, thank you very much for having a positive attitude in life. Go out there and encourage young people not to lose hope in life, because we are messing up with our own lives because of losing hope in life. There are those who want to become pilots. There are those who want to become doctors. There are those who want to become technicians and engineers. But because maybe a grade or because of finances, you find to be an impediment reason why not becoming one. There are those maybe who are in the profession that they never wanted to be, but because of the situation, they found themselves in the profession. You don't lose hope. You say, now maybe this could be a stepping stone to the next level. I began as a teacher, but I don't teach. But I find a solution for pupils and students or learners with disabilities. Because every time they call me, we go visit schools, organizations, and institutions, and they ask me now, Mr. Dongo, you're the teacher in special needs. Give us more information. How do we best approach this problem and come up with a solution? I tell them this is so small. Don't worry. Like the family that I found in Isiolo, crying the whole day, the whole night. Ask God, why do you give me this one? And they almost go to the divorce. They'd go to the elders, go to the pastor and ask the pastor, this woman is not a good woman. He has been sleeping with boys around. And this way God is punishing me on her behalf. Give me such kind of a kid. Look at this one now. Ukimwangalia huyu pastor vizuri, huyu mtoto anaweza kuwa kitu yote kwa maisha yangu kweli? Anaweza kuwa hata mtu wa maana kwa maisha kweli? Sasa pastor amebaki mdomo imefungana hivi, anasema sasa mimi sijui hata disability. Sijui maneno. How do you go about? When I came in, I told them, don't look at the present condition. Look at the future condition of this child. You never know. We can come up with a fund drive. Take this child for medication. She'll be very much okay. Utafukuza bibi yako. Alisema, si ufanye hivyo kwanza. Si ufanye hivyo kwanza. And I told him, you don't lose hope that easily. Keep on trying. Keep on praying. Keep on asking God. And this is why they say, before you get anything, keep on knocking. Mtu ako. Can I come in? Can I come in? But if you just try once, twice, say, kitu bana haiwezekani, bana nimejaribu, imeshindikana, then you're becoming a very useless fellow. Even if you're an Adventist, you will not make it in life. Keep on trying. Keep on praying. Keep persisting every the other day. We were in State House on 1st of June. I was talking to Elder Jacobo here. And when we went to State House, people were saying, sasa Dan wewe, unaenda State House, ndo kufanya nini? Nikamwambia, so long as they've invited me and I have a card, let me go there. So, everybody lined up to kusalimia president. And you see yule jamaa anatembea na mabouncer, wakusukuma hivi na tumbo hivi, unaanguka pande ile. Akusukuma hivi na mkono hivi, unaanguka pande ile nyingine. Because these are guys who are trained to safeguard the president. So anakuja hapo, salamia watu Raila, salamia kina nani hawa, ambassadors, ule president Sierra Leone, amamaliza. Then he comes here, anaona watu, just in my normal uniform. Kaambia, hey rubani, namna gani bana? Yuko namna gani bana? Niko salama mimi. Mimi kusema asante kwa Mungu, asante kwa Mama Ngina Kenyatta kwa kunishikilia mkono kufika penye nimefika. Alifurahi sana. Akasema, as I say, so many people across the country, but nobody has ever come back and say thank you. Nobody has ever come back to the church and say thank you pastor, thank you elder, thank you leadership of the church for standing with us. Only when you have problems, pastor, shiki simu yangu, elder, shiki simu yangu, siji nini. This is what we have in common in life. Everybody learns to complain. Everybody has all stories of complaints here and there. And because of that, let's also hear maybe 2 or 3 people who can share together their stories. Then we summarize together, we sum up and then come up with a proper solution for the special needs department Victory SDA in Kisumu. Are you together? Are we together? Are you going to support these people? Are you going to support them? And my friend, I've got a very nice gift in my bag there. And this is why I walk with it in the airport. Anywhere I go, I always carry some gifts. Please remember to pass by. And I'll make it official so that when you go back home, you also have something to share with your family. Are you together? Are you together? Did you enjoy the story? Or are you encouraged? So you've got no reason to lose hope in life. Are you together? All the best.
Allow me to invite Grace, a rebel.
I greet you all. I'm greeting you now. Please, I'm happy. Happy Sabbath. I want you all to learn something very small or something in Kenya Sign Language, which is very simple. Happy Sabbath. Copy from what she's doing, please. Happy Sabbath. Happy Sabbath. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Grace. Areba. I'm full deaf. I'm not hearing anything. I'm full deaf. I wasn't born deaf. Actually, I was born hearing person like any other person here. But when I was growing, when I was 5 years old, I became sick. Which sickness? Mumps. This sickness transformed me to be deaf. When I was growing in school, I was going to hearing school because my grandmother or grandparents didn't know. My grandfather or my father lost hope actually because the community where I was born, they saw me and judged me. So they told me to go home, meaning because I was deaf, and they cursed me. My grandmother tried going with me to hospitals, hoping that I will hear, but God himself planned that. So I visited different hospitals. They tried to solve my problem, but it couldn't happen. Last, my grandfather met a teacher and explained, and they took me to Nyanza, that is the Russia hospital in Nairobi. Kenyatta Hospital in Nairobi. So they placed something over my head for examination, but they found that I'm deaf. So they took me to deaf school. So all people had attitude towards me. In deaf school, they knew very well this could solve my problem. So my father actually left me and lost hope. He never tried. So he took me again to join Kise. to join Kuja School for the Deaf. That is, but I didn't know any sign language, but deaf was signing very fast, so I was just watching at them. Then I felt so much lonely, meaning I was in my own world. So, in that school, I tried to merge or to connect with people. Some of them were half deaf. So I started learning sign language. So I decided to work very hard. That school is very good, but I was always sick, so they changed me to another school. In Kericho County. I stayed there. It was very good. Then I moved to high school in Mumias. When I finished school, meaning I'm now out in the world and start my own life. But I saw very many people trying. I started chatting, looking for job. I thought which was easy, but actually it was very hard. So I volunteered to be in an office. But how could I communicate? In the Bible, it is good, it is saying, I don't remember the verse, but the deaf can see, the deaf can hear, the blind can see. But this word always encourages me. That means all barriers, I don't have any barrier, so I must break all the barriers. Cost. They employed me, but I volunteered for 3 months because I didn't have good papers. So I wanted to go to college, so I had to volunteer. So I went to college, then I learned good. I got good papers and I got good job. If there is no interpreter, where is the good job? So if you're poor, then you can't get good job. Also, other people who are hearing, they started oppressing me because her writing was very hard. So I tried to break the barrier in my life. Then I went to college. In that college, hearing people, there is no any deaf in that college. So that college, they didn't have also interpreter. But I learned, how did I learn? I learned through papers, through books. I could write or copy my neighbors. So the lecturer could talk, but I don't hear. So I could copy my neighbor. Also myself, I looked for job in Google. I do research, that is, through Google also, and got college. Then I joined Bondo University. I feel very many times opportunity, there is no more opportunities, so I didn't lose hope, but I struggled. For 2014, I got a job in public health. So my work in public health, I worked there for 4 years. Then I graduated. Now I'm working with LVCT, that is Liverpool Health. So that is where I'm working up to now. That means all of you, if we have disabilities, people in home or maybe blind or deaf, or those people who are walking with wheelchairs, never have attitude towards them, because, and don't see them that they are not important, because all of us are important in the society. So we should not have attitude towards them, because God have a different plan. So I ask you a question. Did they choose to be disabled, Did these people actually choose to be disabled? Did they choose to be deaf? Meaning, disability can happen in any normal way. Maybe you might be walking, tomorrow then you find yourself in a wheelchair. So maybe sometimes you are growing to be good, then you change to be blind. Meaning, you get 6 years, then you change in life. Accept disability the way you are. Very important. But barriers which we have, we must break. Because it was my responsibility. I could not change, but I had to break the barriers. Meaning, we have all the hope from God. Never. God did not create us in a different way, but in a normal way. So he created each and every person with an aim. So I encourage parents who maybe they have a disabled child, brother, sister, or relative. Don't have negative attitude towards them. Encourage them, please, and help them to have hope. So that is my story. Thank you.
What do we say to our sister? What do we say to our sister? And this is what we are doing as a church. We are trying to see how much we can be able to do even tracing those who are people who are disabled and are trying to hide them in their houses. I'm inviting a second speaker